Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Emma Borders and today I just wanted to make a video all about the octave mandolin. You may or may not have seen me playing an octave mandolin or seen it in the background in some of my other instructional videos, but I get tons of questions about my octave mandolin, what brand it is, how I tune it, all of the things, and so I am just gonna tell you everything you need to know about the octave mandolin in this video. The pros, the cons, whether you are a mandolin player and maybe you're looking to purchase an octave mandolin, or maybe you're just curious about this instrument. Hopefully you find this video helpful, and go ahead and click the subscribe button and like this video to see more content from me like this. A whole big mandolin family, and you're probably most familiar with the standard mandolin. It's used a lot in bluegrass music, in country music, in some folk music, and the tuning of that standard mandolin is G, D, A, E, and that's from the bottom, the lowest pitch, all the way up to the top. It's tuned the exact same as a violin/fiddle. There is also a mandola, which is very similar to the viola. It's tuned like a viola in the same range as a viola. Same with the Mandocello, which is, you guessed it, the same as a cello, tuned the same as a cello. There's also a Mandobass, which is a huge instrument. I've never played one of those, but that would be really cool. And then of course we have the octave mandolin. And the octave mandolin is actually tuned the exact same as just a standard mandolin. So from the very bottom string, lowest in pitch, to the top string, highest in pitch, it's G, D, A, E. So it's the exact same as a violin, mandolin, and the octave mandolin. Now the difference with the octave mandolin is that it sounds an octave lower, hence the name, the octave mandolin. It sounds an octave lower than a standard mandolin. And this is actually really nice because it sounds more in the range of a guitar. So if you wanted to use this instrument to accompany yourself, which is something that I use it for a lot, it's really nice because it provides a nice base and a nice foundation for you to sing on top of. Whereas the regular mandolin is a little bit more high and kind of chimey sounding, and by all means you can totally accompany yourself with the regular mandolin. However, this sounds more like a guitar, so it just has that nice supporting sound to it. Now I will say that the fretboard of this instrument is quite large, and if you are used to playing a regular mandolin and you come over to this one, you're gonna be like, wow, this thing is huge. And compared to a regular mandolin, yes, it is much bigger. We still have two strings, so that makes it even harder because you're still having to press down two strings, but it's just much bigger. However, that being said, I can still play full bar chords, I can still play melody lines, I can still play quite fast on this instrument. It just takes little minor adjustments here and there. So like one of those adjustments would be on the regular mandolin, I typically will play 1, 2, 3, but this instrument is just bigger. So instead of 1, 2, 3, I have to play 1, 3, 4 as my fingering most of the time. So little things like that. But for the most part, any chords, any melody lines, things like that that you play on the regular mandolin can be brought over to this instrument. One of my favorite things about this instrument is the sustain that it gives. It has such a nice sustain. It has a very kind of melancholy tone. I'd say it sounds really, really great in minor keys. It just has this kind of haunting, beautiful sound, especially if you're playing slower songs or maybe doing kind of more low, sustained accompanying parts. It sounds really, really good with those. And compared to a regular mandolin, the notes can be held out a lot longer, they last longer, and also because of the deeper tone of this, they just have a bit more depth to each note. One of the things that I do a lot with this instrument is I will capo it up, and it just helps me to be able to play quickly. I can play fast down here, but as I said before, it's so big that you can't play quite as fast as you can on a smaller instrument. However, you know, if I wanted to capo it up pretty high, this way, it's much more manageable to your fingers. So if you're wanting to play a faster bluegrass song, or just something, an accompaniment that has a lot of fast moving notes, then that's really a great thing that you can do, is always capo it up. And also, you know, if you just want to play in different keys, have a lot of options, capoing is a great thing to do. The tone and the integrity of the sound is still really, really great. You still get great sustain up here, and it just makes it more versatile because you can play in a bunch of different keys and you're not always having to bar, which, you know, can get tiring. My octave mandolin is an A style, which means that it has a hole right here in the middle, and then everything else is nice and round. They also make F style octave mandolins, and so it's just up to your preference which one you want to go with. Mine is also a Weber octave mandolin, and I have loved it so much. Obviously, this instrument is much bigger, and so the case is bigger, it's heavier, harder to transport around, but it's so worth it. And especially if you are already a mandolin player, I would highly recommend getting one of these. It's so nice, especially because for me, I love writing music, I love arranging, I just love singing, and so I can use this to accompany myself without having to learn a whole new instrument, to learn a bunch of guitar chords. I can take everything that I already know and apply it to this instrument. And so I'd say that I probably play this octave mandolin as much as my regular mandolin, if not more than, maybe. I don't know. I love my mandolin, but I love this one as well. So I get a lot of use out of it. One thing that I really like to utilize on this instrument, like I talked about before, it has really great sustain. So I really like to utilize open voicings as much as I can, using open strings. And I might make a whole separate video about chord voicings and how I make little adjustments from like what I would do on the regular mandolin to this one. I just try to utilize open strings a lot more, again, because it does get tiring to play all 4 fingers down all the time. For instance, this is how I would normally play a C chord on the mandolin. So we've got first finger is barring, then I've got 3 and 4. And it sounds fine. I could totally play this, but a lot of times what I'll do is I will play 1, 2, 3 all on the same fret, so just 3 fingers, and I keep this top string, this open E, I just keep that open. And utilizing open strings like that, it really helps the sustain of this instrument come out. Change chords, the E is still on top. That's something that I like to try to do a lot, is just really utilize those open strings. So yeah, I absolutely absolutely love this instrument. I think it is definitely worth the investment. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below and I will do my best to get back to you. And yeah, I would totally 100% recommend this instrument to anyone who is interested in buying one. I think you will love it.